Hello, my crafty friends. Welcome to Wednesday night crafting with wheels. I've had a very busy 24 hours, actually probably more like 48 hours. And I'm ready to take off my shoes and put on some pajamas. Today was Mac's first day of school. Oh my gosh, I know we all say this and it kind of drives me crazy when I see it posted online, but seriously, where does the time go? He won't be 4 until October the 3rd, and today was his first day of JK. I'm just going to check that I'm loading up here. Oh, there I am in all my fine and glory. So we had him all day yesterday because he didn't start school till today. So we went to Clovermead. We had a great morning at Clovermead, went to the bike park, did all sorts of things. And then we loaded everybody up and went to Green's Corners and had a fam jam. We called it the Fam Jam sleepover. And then we were all there this morning to see Mac go to school on the bus. So if you check my personal site, if we're friends on Facebook, you can see my story, and it's the close-up picture of him because he wore one of Doug's hats to school today to take Buppa with him to his first day of school. So yes, I cried most of the way from Mac's house till I got to at least Delhi. I thought I was going to have to pull over and let Catherine drive, but anyways, I made it. And we're so proud of him, and I'm sure everybody that had littles, I can see comments popping up here, but they're not sticking for some reason. So I'm sure everybody that had littles going to school today had similar experiences. He wanted to go back to school tonight. He liked it so much. He liked the bus, and he liked the playground. So, and it worked out great. Today was the letter M, and he knows his letter M for Mummy, Mimi, Megan, and Mac. So it was a successful first day. We'll see how Friday goes for day 2. So just let me see. Yeah, I'm sorry, you guys. I can't, for whatever reason, I can't see the comments. Just a second here. Let me check a setting. Oh, there I see Crystal, Bev, Eileen. Awesome. Thanks, ladies, for joining me. I don't want to do a lot of yakking tonight, which I tend to do anyways, because I have some fun things to show you. And then I have a really cool technique, which we've done before, but it's one of those ones that it's great to revisit. And I'll show you tell you where I got the inspiration from too, because I like to do challenges online, and this was a fun challenge. So, did everybody get logged into my site today to see the new catalog? To see the new online exclusives that launched today? So much news, and I'm not going to tell you everything until I flip the camera down because it's much better to show you. So the one thing I do want to talk about is Survivor season 49. I mentioned this last week. A bunch of us have been playing Survivor, I don't know how many years, probably 5 or 6 or maybe even more years playing Survivor. So what we do is, for $20, you get 2 random Survivor players. We do a totally random draw, and you get 2 survivors. And the ultimate survivor wins the pot. So 8 times 20 is 160. So what we do is the first one to lose both their players gets a $20 credit for Stampin' Up. And then the remaining 140 is the pot for winning Survivor. So my first group is filling up. I'm sure we'll fill a second group. If you're interested, message me and I'll add you to the Facebook group that we have. And it's just kind of fun. And it's some of the girls that play have never watched Survivor. They have never watched an episode. They just like the chance of winning some Stampin' Up stuff. So that's Survivor. It starts on September 24th, which will be here before we know it. So let me know if you're interested and we can get you on the list. Tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, I'm doing my monthly free online class. So some of the ladies were here last Thursday and they took the class live. And then tomorrow night, I've mailed out kits to a bunch of ladies, and I've heard from all of you, you actually got your kits because I mailed them ahead of time. And you've all got your kits. I hope I've got the directions almost done. So you'll be able to still craft along, and I promise for those of you that were either at class last week or that purchased the card kits, will, I promise to get them out tomorrow. That's all I can say. Same for the sunflower kits. If you ordered a sunflower embossing folder from me, and I'm sending you 2 free card kits, I have those directions almost ready to mail too. I know I'm the dog's tail every time, but that's the way it goes. I also want, before I flip the camera down, I also want to talk and remind you about my November crop on Saturday, November the 22nd, $30, no frills, at the Presbyterian Church in London. And I'm actually going to turn the camera down because I do have some things to show you, and it's much more fun if you're actually looking at things as opposed to just listening to me blather on. So here we have a picture, and I tried to show this to you a week or so ago, of one of the new kits that launched today. I'm telling you, I think these are great value. This is a great crafting kit. So do you have a friend who says, oh, I could never make cards as nice as you, or a mother or daughter or somebody that says, oh, you know, I could never do that? This is the kit to get, because you get 8 cards for $20 and there's no stamping. All of these little elements are die cuts. So like the little dog, the truck, the trees, there's a second style truck here. All the sentiments are pre-done. So it's just assembling. So wouldn't that be fun to open a bottle of wine or a cup of coffee or tea, have somebody over and just say, hey, we're going to play tonight, and maybe have a couple drinks too, and show them how much fun it can be to do something creative. And honestly, anybody can do that. Your grandkids, the kids next door, kids you like, kids you babysit. This would be a wonderful kit because it's really stunning, but it's simple. So you get 20 cards for, or you get 8 cards for $20. The other thing that we've talked about for a couple of weeks is the World Card Making Day. And earlier today, I posted the link to register for the free online get-together. It's on Saturday, October the 4th. It'll be on replay as well. It's free. So make sure you sign up to take part. And it'll likely be video recorded, so you can watch it later if you're busy on that Saturday afternoon. And then this is the World Card Making Kit. It's called Handmade and Heartfelt. And again, it's a crafting kit, so you don't have to stamp anything. You get 10 cards plus the fun desktop organizer, which I'm pretty sure I'm going to use that a lot. 10 cards for $44. Plus last year, Stampin' Up! Sent us something. I can't remember what it was, just for registering, and it's free. So make sure you check out that link that I sent earlier today so that you can get in on that World Card Making Day. And if you recall, either last week or the week before, I talked about refill kits for paper pumpkins. And remember I showed you those fun cards with the typewriter? Well, this is what the refill kits look like when they arrive. And the refill kits for paper pumpkin never have the stamp set or the ink spot, but it has everything else. So this kit, and I'm not going to open it up all the way, this kit, it's this one. Just lovely. And all these little extra elements that add dimension to the card. There are 3 designs, 3 cards each, so 3 times 3 is 9 cards. And for the refill kit, it's $18.25. So that's $2 a card. Like, you can't even buy a card at the dollar store for $2. So these, again, are a wonderful, wonderful addition to your craft. I'm sure you've got thank you notes or just a note, little stamps to stamp the sentiment tags. And it comes all nicely. And again, you get all your adhesives, you get your twine, everything comes with that refill kit. The next paper pumpkin kit comes out September the 10th, and it's called Fall for Twall. And I really don't have a picture of that. The pictures online just showed a little acorn. So my last thing of yakking is I want to give you a preview of what my September card class is going to be. And for September, and I'm pretty sure October and November as well, they are going to be 100% virtual. So if you just want to join online for the free card class like I'm offering tomorrow, they're an hour, and I show you how to make 3 cards, and tomorrow night we're going to make a little box. This is the set in the paper that we're going to be using in September. It's the Peace on Earth set, and it's a beautiful stamp set. It has dies that I need to get on some magnet sheets. It also came, well, the suite, and the suite came with the die. It's a really fun. It's hard to show you there. You can see it, and you can see this in the online catalog as well, because it's part of the new product offering. So we'll be making 3 cards, $20 for a kit. I can either, what I'll do this month is I'll have a central location. I'll drop them off to one person in St. Thomas, and you can coordinate from there how you're going to get them. If I need to mail them, it's an extra $5, and it's $20 for 3 cards. And I do all the cutting and embossing, and there'll be directions on how to put the cards together. We're going to be using this beautiful paper and this beautiful stamp set. So the stamp set is all words. So if you don't have a really good word stamp set, this is a great one. And in the holiday mini catalog, there's also another good one, and I don't have it here at my desk because we used it in card class the other day. But you'll need a good sentiment stamp set if you don't have this one, or if you don't order this. If you order the bundle, or if you place a $50 or more order online, I'll send you the card kit for free, and you can just stamp along. But if you want this bundle, you'll need it for this kit. And the date of the card class, I'll send more out. It will be, I'm away a bunch in September, doing lots of fun things. Let me pull up my calendar here. Probably will be, I'm going to aim for the 18th. That's probably really pushing it, but I'm going to be away on the Thursday. I might have to bump it up until the 30th of September. To that Monday the 30th. Why don't we do that, and then I'll know for sure where I'm going to be and get things in order. Actually, Monday's the 29th, so let's do it Monday the 29th. Will be the free virtual class. If you want a kit, let me know. And like I said, $20 for 3 cards are free if you've placed an order with me this month. So thank you to those who placed orders this morning bright and early. Your card kits will be in the mail as soon as I get over tomorrow's card class. So I think that was all the yakking I wanted to do, which is way too much. But anyways, I want to show you this fun card. And it really doesn't do justice just to see it on the video. This is the technique that we're going to be doing. It's a kind of a faux watercoloring, and you need a stamp that's just lines. This is a great one. This is from the Mixed Floral stamp set. We've used it a lot. I was Stamper of the Month in our stamping group, and when I first got this, I thought, oh man, I'm not much into coloring. But with techniques like this, you can really go to town and use those line stamps. So I have some tips for you, and I actually changed this design once I made this card because I wanted to fill up more of the space with color. So I'm going to show you how we did this. And honestly, we've done this before. It can be a little messy. It's a great one to do with kids. And it's just lots of fun. And we're using watercolor paper. And that really does make all the difference. So Stampin' Up! Sells watercolor paper. It's fluid, 100, I think it's 100 pounds. Is that what you call that? Anyways, it's 100% cotton. There's 10 sheets, and it's $12.25. And these sheets are, well, the packaging is 7 by 5 1/4. So what I did, I went ahead and I die cut the layer. See the fun little design around the edge? That is from the another set that we've used a lot. To do textured notes. So I was going to use this leaf, but it's too closed in. You need something that's really just lines. And for this one, what you need a clear acrylic block. Now, this is the block I used for this. But for this stamp set, or this card, I'm actually going to use the bigger block. This is the 3.5 by 4.5 block. And boy, do they ever need a bath. I need to get them into some sudsy water here. But what we're going to do, and one of the tips I have to share to you, I follow a bunch of blog hops. Have you seen those where they do like a stamp set or a technique? So this month it's called Color Infusers, and they did a color challenge. So they used Garden Green, Cajun Craze, and Basic Beige, which has kind of that greeny undertone. My Basic Beige is very juicy, so it really does stamp up nice and green. So all you do, and like I said, you've probably seen us do this before. We have lots of fun with it. And I like using the spots, but if you don't have spots, just use any ink. So I'm using Garden Green. So I kind of, and there's no right or wrong way in how you ink up your block or how you put your color on. And I'll show you the difference because I actually have one, because it does need to dry. So I thought rather than watch ink dry, I'm going to do this ahead of time. So I'm just going to stamp in. You want to be careful not to run, like to stamp your colors too much together because you don't want them to get muddy. And let's put some over like that. And then I'm going to take my Basic Beige. And just being careful because I don't want to get other ink colors on here. I'm just going to stamp it. And like I said, my Basic Beige is very juicy. So can you see that? It's hard to see, but it's good. There's good coverage on that block. I'm going to put my ink aside. And then I'm going to take a little squirt bottle. And I'm going to hold it fair. I don't want to squirt it right up close. I want kind of a finer mist. And again, how much water you put on here, you can do trial and error, and it really does depend. So you see, I'm going to get more of an open look up there, and I'll do that. And you will never get the same background twice. And you can kind of let your colors roll together if you want to give even a different look. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to center this on quickly, like that. And I'm just going to squish it out. And I kind of like leaving some of those splotches a little more open. And I'll show you what the difference is with the one that I did before. Ooh, that's kind of cool. This is going to give a totally different look than the one I stamped, that I inked up, and now I have it all over my arm. I'm just going to take a Kleenex and maybe just kind of dab a little bit where it's really pooled. And I could dry this with my heat gun, and then I can move that color around, but I'm just going to let that sit. And by the time I finish showing you the techniques here, it should be almost ready to stamp. But I went ahead and did one just before I turned the video on. So I'm going to show you the difference in the backgrounds. So people are posting pictures of the Borealis. Have you guys seen those? It's beautiful. So you will never get the same exact design with this technique. But I kind of like the full coverage as opposed to just the thin one. But again, totally your choice. And your color choices are endless. So I have a Basic Beige background, and we're just going to set this one aside and let it dry. And we'll come back to it before I finish the video. And for this technique, when I'm stamping on watercolor paper, I could have used StazOn ink, but I am going to use just Memento. And I'm going to use a stamp positioning tool. Now, we used to sell a stamp positioning tool called the Stamparatus, and then we couldn't sell it anymore. But I'm going to pull mine out of storage because for this one, you want a really good stamped image on that background. And the watercolor paper, it's smooth, but it's not smooth. You know what I mean? It's got a bit of texture to it. So for this kind of stamping, I want to use something that's going to, that I can re-ink my stamp and not worry that I'm not getting it in the right place. So Tim Holtz sells stamp positioners. There's tons of places that sell stamp positioners, and the techniques or the basic idea behind them is pretty much the same. I never use the corner. I always put my paper kind of in the center, and these two magnets will ensure that the glass doesn't come down onto your paper. And I'm pretty sure that's the same for any stamp positioner that you might use. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this lined stamp like this. So do I want my paper that way, or do I want my flower to be, no, I think this way. So I'm going to put this down so the actual stamp, the flat back is up like that. And then I also have a little sentiment stamp here, which I'll pick up in a second. So I'm pretty happy with how that's sitting on that piece of paper. And then I can pick it up. And as you can see, I didn't have my stamp cleaned from my sample, which is quite all right, because I'm going to re-ink this now. And I want it really, really inked up well. And then that way, when I close it up, give it a little massage. So you see down here, it's not as defined as I would like it to be. So now I can go back and re-ink that. So if you haven't invested in a stamp positioning machine, you can get really expensive ones. You can get very reasonable ones from Amazon or probably at Michael's if you have a coupon. They really are worth it for a technique like this, where you want to make sure that you're getting a really good impression and good coverage with that lined stamp. Well, I'm pretty happy with that now. And now I can take my, this one has a drop down like this. It has a second sheet. And then I'm going to take this stamp just a note. Where am I going to put it? Yeah, I think down here at the bottom. This is going to be a very, very simple card. I'm going to pick that up. If you have one of these Stamparatuses and you haven't used it for a while, remember, don't let those magnets touch each other, because they are super, super strong. I'll bring that down. Just make sure I've got a good impression that I'm happy with, and I am happy with that. And you shouldn't store these together. They'll get a little bendy. So I'm just going to set this off to the side, and I'll clean that up later. And there we have our card. Now for this one, earlier, I took a little sponge and I took my garden green ink. You don't need a sponge, you could use, you could direct. But I just like the way that this kind of highlights that design in the die cut. And it also provides a good transition from the very vanilla to the watercolor paper, because it's not white and it's not beige, or it's not vanilla. So in my opinion, you kind of need something that softens that transition between your card base and that piece of watercolor paper. So I'm just going to add some adhesive to this. Get out my trusty Seal Plus here. There is a beautiful online stamp set. I think it's called Harvest Wheat. And I've seen this technique done. In fact, I think that's where I got the idea for this specifically. They had used the wheat, and it's a shaft of wheat. It's beautiful. So there you have 2 quick and easy, fun. I love the pattern in this, the swirl of the Aurora Borealis. If I'd have used different colors, it would really have looked like that. And then there's a third one, and again, it's going to be totally different when we stamp on it. This would be fun, using this stamp set that's just words with these big. In fact, I might do that and just stamp out a big happy birthday or a thank you. Anyway, thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it. Take a look at the online information. If you need a catalog, let me know, and I can pop one into the mail for you, or I'm going to be in London on Friday. Let me know. And if you're interested in the card kit for our September class, remember they're free unless you want the card kit. And have a great first week of September, everybody. Thanks for joining me. Bye.